The planet Zyphora was a world of beauty and precision. Its skies shimmered with violet clouds, and its cities rose like glass towers, reflecting the sun in every direction. The alien civilization that lived there was known across the galaxy for its intelligence and artistry. Among them was Princess Liara, a young woman admired for her elegance and wisdom, yet carrying a memory that haunted her dreams. Liara often wandered through the palace gardens, feeling the soft glow of Zyphora's twin moons on her face. Beneath the graceful trees and flowers that seemed alive with light, she remembered a distant event from her childhood, a dangerous sandstorm that had swept through her city, leaving destruction in its path. She had been trapped, terrified, and then saved by a figure she never fully understood, a human. Humans were rare on Zyphora. Most aliens viewed them as fragile, limited creatures who relied on instinct rather than skill. Yet somehow this one human had changed her life forever. Liara had never known his name. She had never seen his face again, until now. The grand hall of the palace shimmered with crystal chandeliers as diplomats from different planets gathered for a celebration. Humans had been invited for the first time, and Liara's curiosity was piqued. She moved gracefully among the guests, exchanging polite words and gestures. Yet her thoughts remained elsewhere. The entrance doors opened, and a group of humans walked in. Their movements were less elegant than the aliens, but there was a quiet confidence about them. At their center was a young man, unassuming in appearance, yet carrying himself with a calm intelligence. Liara's heart skipped a beat. Something about him seemed familiar. The man approached a small console, studying a technical device with careful attention. In moments, he identified a flaw that had troubled the palace engineers for weeks and corrected it effortlessly. Murmurs of surprise spread among the aliens. They had expected humans to be simple and unskilled, yet this one solved the problem with ease. Liara stepped closer, her eyes narrowing slightly. She noticed a small scar on his hand. It was faint, but it matched the one she remembered from the sandstorm, the very same mark she had traced in her memory for years. Her pulse quickened. Could it be? After the ceremony, she found a quiet corridor and waited. When the human walked past, she stepped forward. "You," she said softly, almost afraid to speak the words. "I remember you." The man paused, looking at her in confusion. I think you have me mistaken," he said politely. "I don't think we've met." Liara shook her head, her voice firmer now. "No, you saved me. When I was a child, in the sandstorm." His brow furrowed. "A sandstorm? I remember helping someone once long ago, but I thought it was just a mission I barely recall." He seemed uncertain, yet a flicker of recognition passed through his eyes. "My name is Liara," she said, her voice softening. "I am the Princess of Zyphora. That day, you saved my life. I never forgot it." The man stared at her, then slowly knelt, a gesture of respect. "I am Ethan," he said. I remember now. I was part of a rescue mission, but I never thought I would see you again. I didn't know it would have this impact." Liara smiled faintly, though her heart raced. "You saved more than my life. You proved that humans are capable of extraordinary things. And now, here you are, in my world." Ethan studied her carefully. "I never imagined I would meet someone I saved as a child in another species capital. This is beyond anything I could have predicted." Their conversation was interrupted by a group of noble aliens who had been observing them with suspicion. One of them, a tall figure with silver eyes, stepped forward. "Princess Liara," he said, "is everything all right? We notice you speak with a human in private. Is this necessary?" Liara straightened, her voice calm but firm. "Yes, it is necessary. This human Ethan is no ordinary visitor. He played a role in my life that I cannot ignore. His presence here is important, not only to me but to the understanding of all species." The noble's expression hardened, and whispers passed among the courtiers. "He is just a mortal," one voice said. "Why should he influence the royal family? Why should he be trusted?" Liara ignored the murmurs. Humans may seem fragile to some, but intelligence, courage, and creativity are not limited to any one species, she said. "I intend to learn more from him, and you will see the value in it." That evening, Liara escorted Ethan to the royal archives, a vast room filled with glowing data crystals that recorded the history of Zephora. She pulled up records from the sandstorm incident, showing him images and holograms of the city, the destruction, and the rescue. Ethan studied the records in silence. Slowly, memories came back. The chaos, the sand, the fear, and the precise moment when he had reached for the child in danger. He had acted on instinct, on a sense of duty, never expecting gratitude or recognition. Yet now, seeing the images and hearing Liara's words, the weight of his actions settled on him. I didn't realize it mattered so much," he admitted. "I just did what I thought was right at the moment." Liara placed a hand on his arm. "What you did mattered more than you know. You showed courage and compassion in a way no alien could have. That is why I respect you, Ethan." They spent hours in the archives, speaking quietly about the past and the present. Liara explained the complexities of Zephoran society, the expectations on her as a princess, and the ways in which aliens often underestimated humans. Ethan listened, absorbing the knowledge, asking questions, and offering ideas that were uniquely human, simple, creative, and effective. The more time they spent together, the clearer it became that humans could approach problems differently. While aliens relied on strict logic and tradition, Ethan relied on adaptability, observation, and intuition. His insights often solved issues the aliens had deemed impossible. Yet not all was calm. Across the palace, the nobles whispered and plotted. Some saw Ethan's presence as a threat to their influence. If a human could gain the princess's respect, it could challenge centuries of tradition. Schemes and doubts began to take root, though none dared speak directly to Liara. As the night deepened, Liara and Ethan moved to the palace balcony. The twin moons cast a silver glow over the city below. Liara looked at him thoughtfully. "Tomorrow, I want to show you something," she said. "A place that few humans have seen. It is where our technology meets the heart of our planet. You may find it enlightening." Ethan nodded, curiosity and excitement lighting his features. "I would be honored to see it, Princess, and I hope I can prove myself worthy of the trust you place in me." Liara smiled. "You already have, in ways you cannot imagine." As they looked out over the city, a subtle tension lingered. The journey ahead would not only test Ethan's skills, but also challenge the prejudices of an entire civilization. The mission that awaited them was dangerous, with threats both natural and political, but Liara felt a rare sense of hope. Humans, she realized, were capable of greatness beyond what many aliens believed. And now, the child she once was had the chance to witness that greatness firsthand. The night air was cool and filled with the hum of Zephora's energy currents. Liara and Ethan stood side by side, two figures from different worlds, united by fate and courage. A story that began in childhood danger was far from over. Together they would face the challenges of the planet, of society, and of destiny itself. And so the princess and her mortal savior prepared for the trials to come, unaware that their bond would not only change their own lives, but the perceptions of humans across the stars. The first chapter of their story was ending, but the adventure, the proving of human ingenuity, and the bridging of worlds was only beginning. The next morning, the sun rose over Zephora, casting warm light over the glass towers of the capital. The air was crisp, carrying a faint hum from the planet's energy conduits. Princess Liara stood on her balcony, looking toward the horizon where the desert stretched endlessly. She had promised Ethan a glimpse of the heart of Zyphora's technology, a place few humans had seen, and today, that journey would begin. Ethan arrived promptly, carrying only a small pack. His eyes widened as he took in the city from above, the towers reflecting light in ways he had never imagined. "It's incredible," he said softly. "The way this city works, it's like it's alive." Liara smiled, pleased by his wonder. "You will see more soon, but first, you must understand our energy core. It is the source of our technology, our cities, and our defense systems. And it has a problem." They traveled in silence to the outskirts of the capital, where the desert met the engineered landscapes of Zyphora. The ground shimmered faintly with energy traces, a constant reminder that the planet itself was alive with power. Liara led Ethan to a concealed facility, its entrance hidden beneath the sand. Inside, massive machines hummed with light, their operations delicate yet immense. "The core has been unstable for weeks," Liara explained. "Our engineers cannot find the cause. If it fails, the energy flow to the city could collapse. And if that happens, disaster is certain." Ethan examined the machines carefully. His human instincts guided him differently than the aliens' precise methods. Where Zyphoran engineers relied on rigid protocols, Ethan looked for patterns, small deviations, and connections they might have overlooked. He traced wires, observed light fluctuations, and adjusted parameters experimentally, but cautiously. Hours passed. Liara watched him, impressed by his determination. He did not rush, nor did he rely on assumptions. His mind adapted to the technology around him, treating it not as a mystery but as a problem to be solved. Then came the first warning. An energy surge pulsed through the core, causing the lights to flicker and the air to vibrate. Liara steadied herself. "It's happening faster than I expected," she said. "If we don't stabilize it, the entire facility could collapse." Ethan took a deep breath, scanning the readings. "There's a feedback loop here that your systems aren't accounting for," he said. "It's small, hidden beneath the main flow, but it's amplifying the instability." Liara frowned. "Our engineers didn't see that?" "It should have been obvious." "Sometimes," Ethan said, "you have to look at things differently. Systems can be too perfect in design to notice the small flaws that matter." Together they worked. Ethan suggested rerouting power through secondary channels, while Liara adjusted the main stabilizers. Their collaboration was seamless, combining human intuition with Zyphoran precision. Hours became moments, tension thick in the air, but they continued side by side. Finally, with a low hum and a surge of light, the core stabilized. The energy flowed evenly, and the machines returned to normal operation. Liara exhaled, relief flooding her face. "You did it," she said. "You saved the city." Ethan shook his head, smiling modestly. "We did it. Your guidance made it possible, too. I just found a different way to help." Word of their success spread quickly. The palace nobles, who had been skeptical of humans, began to murmur among themselves. Some could not deny the achievement. A mortal, working with a princess, had prevented a catastrophe that even the most skilled Zyphoran engineers could not solve. Liara summoned a council meeting to discuss the incident. She addressed the room with authority and clarity. "Today we witness something important. Humans are capable of intelligence, creativity, and courage beyond what we imagined. Ethan's actions demonstrate that collaboration with other species can strengthen our society, not weaken it." The room was silent for a moment. Then a few nobles nodded reluctantly, while others remained skeptical. Liara continued, her voice steady. Prejudice should never blind us to talent and virtue. If we can learn from others, we grow stronger. If we reject them, we remain limited by our own fears. Ethan watched her, admiration in his eyes. "You truly believe that," he said quietly. Liara smiled. "I do. And now you see why you are not just a guest here, Ethan. You are a teacher, a friend, and a reminder that courage is universal." Days passed, and Ethan's presence became more accepted among the alien population. He accompanied Liara on missions to repair and improve critical infrastructure, always using human ingenuity to overcome challenges that technology alone could not solve. He solved problems that had baffled experts for decades, from stabilizing unstable energy grids to devising transport routes across dangerous terrain. Yet, not all threats were technological. Some nobles attempted to undermine Liara's authority by spreading rumors, suggesting she was too influenced by a mortal to lead wisely. Liara ignored them publicly, but watched closely, knowing that diplomacy and patience were required. During a quiet evening, Liara and Ethan returned to the balcony overlooking the city. "Do you understand what you've done?" she asked. "Not just for me, but for all of Zephora?" Ethan looked at the glowing towers below, feeling the weight of responsibility. "I think I'm starting to. Humans, we're usually underestimated. But today I see that courage and intelligence aren't limited to any one species. I never imagined I could have this kind of impact." Liara nodded. "It is rare for one human to be in the right place at the right time. But more importantly, it is rare for a society to recognize value where it does not expect it. Today, we both learned something important. Their bond deepened, not through romance, but through mutual respect and shared experiences." Liara admired Ethan's adaptability, his ability to see solutions where others saw only obstacles. Ethan respected Liara's wisdom, her patience, and her willingness to challenge societal norms. Together, they became a symbol of what collaboration between species could achieve. Weeks later, another challenge arose. A distant mining colony on the planet's surface reported a structural collapse, threatening hundreds of lives. The colonial engineers had failed to stabilize it, and a disaster seemed imminent. Liara knew this was another opportunity to demonstrate human ingenuity. Ethan joined the emergency team, analyzing the situation differently from the aliens. He noticed patterns in the debris and the vibrations that the automated sensors missed. By suggesting unconventional support structures and rerouting power to critical systems, he enabled the colony to stabilize its buildings and evacuate safely. News of Ethan's success spread throughout Zephora. The people began to speak openly about the potential of humans. Children asked to study human methods. Scientists requested collaborations. Even skeptics could no longer deny the talent, courage, and intelligence humans could bring. Liara stood in the council hall, proud and resolute. "Today, we have proven that greatness is not defined by origin, but by action. Humans are not merely visitors. They are allies, teachers, and friends. And we, as Zephyrans, must embrace this truth if we are to grow stronger." Ethan smiled, quietly humbled by the recognition. "I never imagined any of this would happen. I just did what I thought was right, and it seems it mattered more than I knew." Liara placed a hand on his shoulder. "It mattered more than anyone could have guessed. You saved me as a child. You saved a city. And now you have helped our society see that courage and intelligence are universal. You have changed the way we think." As the twin moons rose over Zephora that night, Liara and Ethan looked out over the city once more. Their journey had started with a single act of bravery in a sandstorm long ago, and now it had grown into a story that would inspire generations. The princess realized that humans were capable of greatness not because of strength or technology alone, but because of their creativity, empathy, and adaptability. Ethan had proven that one mortal could influence an entire civilization, and that recognition alone could change the course of history. The bonds between their worlds had been strengthened, prejudice had been challenged, and hope had been renewed. Humans, once underestimated, had shown their true worth. Liara turned to Ethan, a quiet smile on her face. "This is only the beginning. Together we can face any challenge. And perhaps someday your people will see the stars as we do, not as strangers, but as friends." Ethan nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "I'm ready for whatever comes next," he said. "If humans are capable of this, then who knows what else we can achieve." And so, the mortal savior and the alien princess looked toward the future, united not by blood or species, but by courage, intelligence, and the unshakable bond of trust. The story that began in childhood danger had grown into a tale of heroism, collaboration, and hope. A story that would be told across the stars, celebrating the brilliance of humanity and the potential of unity among worlds. For Liara and Ethan, the adventure was far from over. But one truth had become clear. Humanity, when seen for its true potential, could inspire awe, change minds, and shape the destiny of civilizations. The desert winds of Zephora whispered around them, carrying the promise of new challenges, new discoveries, and the enduring power of courage and ingenuity. And as the stars twinkled above, the mortal savior and the alien princess stood together, ready to face whatever the universe might bring.